Welcome, one and all. We are so excited that you've chosen to spend the next 60 minutes of your time, your valuable time with us here. My name is Mike. With me today, I have Ryan and Josh, members of our Knowledge Center team. Really excited to have them here. And then behind the scenes, we have Gina, who put all this wonderful stuff together. So if you're thinking, how clever is that? Back to the feature thing and all of that, that was all Gina's brainchild. So thank you, Gina, for being behind the scenes today. So Ryan and Josh, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
As
you.
you notice, we're going to do this a little talk showy, like we have been in the pre-show here, walking you through some really great things that you already have in your Litmos instance now. And I think that's probably why you all have decided to attend today. The value for you is to really understand what are some of the features that you might not be using right now or that you want to jump into, because the Litmos platform is pretty darn fantastic. I know I'm biased. I'm looking at my shirt here, but it can do a whole heck of a lot. And these folks here, these two on the line, are absolute geniuses when it comes to the platform. And I'm excited to walk through and ask them questions as they start to deliver some of our big updates that we had over the last year. So as you can see,
Oh yeah.
what's that? You good? Yeah,
I
you
just said, oh yeah.
good?
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, I love it. So we're going to be looking back at those top features that we launched over the last year, even in the pandemic and all of the things going on. That doesn't mean that we stopped innovating and making the product better, right? So we're going to look at some of those things today and go through that. So let's take a peek. Let's just jump right in. In 2020, what did we release? Now, this might be somewhat of a big thing for you that you might go, I didn't even know that existed, right? Because there's a lot going on. So, and we're not going to fault you for that. Everything is good. So that's why you're here today, right? So in 2020, we got the content author tool and brand themes and impersonation. And I don't need to read this wonderful list to you, but look at all this great stuff that you have going on here. Quick question, Ryan, to you, what's the one on there that you see the most that you're just like, man, you're fired up about that we released in 2020?
Content author. Like,
There you go. Josh, same question.
Brand themes, being a design guy for sure.
Yeah, you are the design guy. Yeah. So I apologize that I didn't introduce ourselves a little more fully. I look after all the post-sales stuff. So anything related to like the account management and anything related to the customer after the sale, that's what I look after. Ryan is one of our wonderful mentors, and he is part of the team, the solutions team that helps companies get onboarded correctly before they go live. And then I'll answer some of those bigger questions as they come through. And then Josh is our design guru, who if you've ever been into the dojo and seen the coursework and how it's laid out and designed, that's all Josh here though. So wanted to make sure you knew who the players were as we go through this here. Okay, so let's keep on firing on, because I know that I get chatty. Anyone who's been
Oh
on
yeah.
the line with me before, I get kind of chatty, and we have a lot to get through. So we're going to make sure that we stay on target as we go through there. So
Totally.
really great stuff on this screen as we go along. Really excited to be sharing some of this stuff with you today. Yeah, look at all those improvements. ILTs, assign tool. Now it's a little interactive today. First thing for you is a quick poll. Let's roll that poll. Yeah, let's see what we have. Did you know that all of these existed? All the stuff from that last slide, did you know that they all existed? Let's throw that out. Which features do you currently use right now, right? So we got the poll up there. It won't let me put in a request, but that's okay. So we're looking at it here. We'll give it just a couple of seconds. Let's see. Oh, I love it. Look at all the percentages popping around in the progress here. Give it another 20 seconds or so. Here we go. Quick poll.
There we go.
It is now off, and we're waiting for the results, right? They got to be tabulated, all that kind of stuff that needs to happen. All right, so let's lock. Oh, which of these features do you currently use is back again? Okay, here we go.
There's a
Something
secondary
happened.
one.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, it's good. So we're taking some of the top ones here that we know are the biggest ones there. And let's see what we got. There we go. Customer learned dashboard, 19%. Assessments. Okay, yeah, absolutely. 30% on there. And then the biggest, the Litmos training content. That's pretty fantastic here. Gamification, looks like we could definitely talk a little bit more about that, because this also gives us some direction today on what we need to focus a little more into, right? Because if only 9% are using the gamification feature, maybe we can spark something for you that you go, oh, and it's an aha moment for you, where you can look into that and then start using that a little bit more. Because part of the thing here is that you've got the Porsche, you've got all the features and functions and all of that kind of thing, but if you're just driving it to and from work, you're not really using it for all it could be. We're hoping that we can show you how all the different turbos and all of those things as we go along. All right, let's get cracking. Let's just jump into this, right?
Definitely.
So the first one here, Josh, and this one's going to go to you because I know that you're all about the design. Again, you created almost all of the coursework that you see in the dojo. You're really ingrained in that. So why don't you start by telling us about the content author and kick us off right? Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And to harp on Ryan, this is a second close favorite of mine for all of these things, because actually content author is probably the most powerful thing we've released in a while. With Litmos, you've had the ability to create courses through our native tools with the page information modules, uploading videos, slides, and our assessment modules. But we've never really had a content authoring system that gives you finer control of like how your content looks, where the pictures go. So we've actually released a really robust, powerful content authoring module that's just part of Litmos now. It's fantastic. In the content authoring module, you have control over a few of these types of components, from storytellers to organizers, media, and assessments. This list is our first initial launch list. There's actually more coming to this list, and expansions coming to this list every single time we have a nice little product release, which is about every 3 months. So get excited for that. In addition to all of those components, you're provided with templates to kind of lay that information out. And then instead of just kind of talking about it, I can show you too. Let's just do that really quick. Let me pull my good old trusty dojo instance up. So this is the back end you're all seeing behind the dojo. My instance looks a little bit different than yours, but I just clicked into a content authoring module, and this is now what we have capability to do, to create an introduction, add pages, attach resources directly within this module, and then you even have a way to adjust like the theme and colors. See this little cool option right here? You can actually do dark mode and light mode across your modules, which is one of my favorite little things. And then you have ability to change some of these different fonts and stuff. But getting into the actual modules and creation of this module, let's go into like finding your way around and see if we wanted to edit this page. I started building this page out. There's just some graphics here. This is kind of introducing people to the learner dashboard. And say if I wanted to change this, we have a really nice kind of click and select sort of feature where you can kind of change it to another image, gradient, color. I'm going to stick back with my image right here. And then you can see all of the assets that I upload even stay there, which is great. So, you know, I like that dojo picture. We'll switch it to that. Lots of great stuff here. I mean, Ryan, you're excited about this. I'm excited about this. I'm gonna just kind of drive on this. Give me a little bit of, tell us about what you're excited, what you want to see your customers doing now. And maybe if you've seen some customers kind of getting started with this, let's go with that. And I'm just gonna add some widgets here while we're going.
Sure. So like one of the biggest things that I hear or heard in my onboardings before this was released was, we want to build stuff in Litmos. Like, yeah. I don't want to go somewhere else to like build something and then bring it in. And so what I saw from all of my customers, especially like once we made this release, they got really excited because they were able to just jump into the platform. And the great thing about the content author is that it's just like the rest of the platform. It's intuitive, it's easy to understand. You just have to get in there and start playing around with it. The way it's been built and designed is incredibly user-friendly. So if you're someone like me who is not an instructional designer, so I am not a Josh Barton, I'm not a Mike Martin, like this is not the world that I live in. But even I was able to come into the content authoring tool. I treated it just like I treated the Litmos platform when I started, and I just got in the sandbox and started building sandcastles. And you'd be surprised at just how easy and intuitive it is. If you just give yourself that grace, give yourself a little patience and get in there and start doing it. I've gotten nothing but rave reviews from all of my customers on this thing.
Yeah, I love the WYSIWYG, the what you see is what you get. The simplicity of it. I am an instructional designer. I was actually a customer of Litmos for about 6 years before I put on the badge and became part of the team in 2016. But this is what I would do. I'd always use another tool to build all the content, and then I would put it into the LMS. And now we're bringing the two together to make it really simple for you. Our customers are biggest fans, the people, we're biggest fans of you as well, to be able to do everything that you need to right in there. So this is, I think, taking the step back, the bigger picture is to make this your one-stop shop so that you can do everything in there, build SCORM files, build everything you want in a very simple way that is also incredibly, it looks really great on mobile too, right? That it's responsive and that it changes with whatever device that you're on. So giving you, and there you go. So there's an example of that. So if you haven't checked this out yet, I think that this is the thing that you need to jump into and just start playing around. Build a really introduction, hello world type course if that works for anybody, right? Like just let's check it out and let's put it out there and see what people think. With everything being native, again, we're trying to reduce the number of roadblocks and stops and things for you to get your content out to the people that really matter most, which are your end users. And so really great, really solid there. So I'm going to be checking the questions as we go along. I know that Gina's behind the scenes answering them as well, but if there's some I might bring up as we go through that as well. But I mean, really great feature. Anything else on this, Josh, before we head on to the next one?
No, this is just fantastic. I mean, and like Mike said, you can kind of export it to SCORM 1.2 or export for web. So you've got that flexibility if you want to send a SCORM file to another person for review. All right, I'll just minimize that and we'll go to the next slide.
And hey, Josh, quickly, before you jump away from that, where do you find that? Like if you were going into your your instance, right? So that people can see that. Just a quick breadcrumbs there as we go along. I saw that in the chat here.
Of course. So wherever you are in a course, you can add a module. So say we just created a course here, started a new course, or if you wanted just to kind of go to your quick actions and do create a module, it will just be under this tab and it'll be under content author. Excuse me for my high contrast customizations here. It looks a little different than your end. Yeah. But yeah, this is the author, and then save an author, and then this will get you right into the authoring tool. However, before you do all of this, you have to go to your features because you want to allow certain people to be content authors. Otherwise, you just kind of open this up to everybody. That could create an issue. So you scroll down to content author, and then you promote an individual to content author. So you see, my name is Master Sensei in the system.
Dojo theme, come on, it's great. It's great.
Exactly. So I'm the only one technically right now who has access to that. So I see that tab, but that's where you would go to get it set up and then add it to the actual course.
Thanks, Josh, because we had a few questions on that. I was like, hey, if I don't have access to that, or how can I, being able to have the admins go in and then assign it, like you just said, to make them to be able to use it. I think that was a really great thing to share. Well done.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and like one of the big questions that I always get in my onboardings is, Ryan, how do I love everything in the dojo. How do I make things like that? The content author is how you make things like that. So don't be afraid. Just get in there and start playing around with it.
All right.
Definitely. And full disclaimer, obviously we started creating things in the dojo before the content author was released because that was just released recently. But going forward, new courses coming out, webinar recaps like this, those will all be based out of the content author module. So you'll start seeing some more cool examples of how that works.
That's one thing you'll see us do is that we're going to use everything that we sell to teach you how to use it, right? We're going to use our own tools. And we're rebuilding the content in the dojo with our stuff as we update it. And of course, the dojo is also a Litmos instance. So just trying to really showcase that while you're in there learning, that you're also using it as a learner as well. So excited about that stuff too. So next up, right? I mean, I think we could talk about the content author forever. And I think also just to throw this out there to everybody too, that we are going to be doing some very specific courses and webinars around that. So be sure to be looking out for those notifications so you can jump in and we can really walk through the real intricate details of what it looks like to build something out in that. Brand themes is next up, right? So I love this one because for the first time, you can really change, when we made this update, you can really change the brands in so many more ways than just the email template. And I mean, to me, this was a game changer, and I'd love to throw it up to one of you too to walk us through why this is pretty amazing, and what people should be thinking about on the call right now if they're not using it now, why they should jump into it and take a peek and take a second look.
Yeah, so I'll take a stab at it there, Mike, because a lot of my customers, especially last year, needed a way to re-engage with their customers, their partners, their vendors, because suddenly, like, everyone is removed from office spaces, from gathering places. And this is where I really saw the brand themes take off, is because now within your platform, within the Litmos instance that you have, you're able to customize an experience for people based on a brand that you create for them. So what I saw a lot of people begin to do was have their default brand, which is where all of their internal learners were living and coming in. So those employees coming into the platform, taking all of their training, but then they were able to create an experience for their customers for partner training, customer training on products that is completely different from what their internal organization was seeing. Without naming any names, there's a customer that I helped onboard that does safety training, and a lot of that is like asbestos safety training. And they have several different major paint clients in North America. They were able to create a different experience for every single client, so that they felt like they were coming into a platform that was just for them. It was made just for them. So it's all about delivering an experience to your learners that's customized and personable and relatable, and not just a canned experience.
Seriously, that's such a game changer. I honestly, I think it's kind of like a multiplier of your instance, right? You just previously you had this one instance with this one look, this one feel, but now you can literally cater to as many brands as you want to create. I don't know if there's
a lot of people use. They do it in teams, regions. Think about like your regions across the world or the United States or wherever you are, right? How it's divided up. They could have their own look and feel. It's really the sky's the limit there, and you can do it all within the one instance, right? Because before, and you can still do this now, and there are pros and cons, benefits to doing it the other way of having multiple instances where you have a parent account and then you have actual child Litmos accounts. They're separate instances from the other one, and there are lots of reasons that you should or shouldn't do that. But now, for those who are just kind of dipping their feet in, you can just look at this and jump in and go for it and start building out some new different color schemes and everything in there, which I think this is one of those incredibly powerful things that I don't know that everybody has really jumped into yet, just because there's so much to see.
Definitely. And I mean, I can kind of show you a live example. In this account, I'm not Sensei, I'm Litmos Lenny. This is an example of me adding myself. Oops, sorry, that image is a broken image link, so that's not great. But adding myself to another brand that somebody added a broken image link there as a customization. So ignore that. But with that said, you still have access to the custom footer, the custom header, custom CSS. This was only available on your main themes page. Now we have this available within your every single brand, which literally every panel here, every little bit you can see is flexible, and you can customize it and change it around. But yeah, this header changed slightly, and this was the setting before I switched to that brand. So you can kind of see different headers. And even like these panels right here, I know in this preview, this panel is a little bit different. So you can do stuff like that as well. Totally dynamic experience, like across your Litmos instance. And what's cool with teams is you can automatically push people in a team to a certain brand too, which is a nice little functionality.
Yeah, exactly. That's really great stuff. So I think it's super powerful. Let's talking use cases again. It could be all the way down to just teams in your office. It could be regions across the globe. I mean, so think through, like, is there an opportunity for you to specialize and then even do some competition between the brands, right? Of like, they have their own colors and coat of arms or whatever it might be. Think big, think fun, think interesting, and I think a lot of these things will come, and this would be a really powerful feature as we go along. Good stuff. Yeah.
A couple questions in the chat. Will there be a short tutorial on video how to use brand themes? Actually, we do have a course in the dojo called Account Settings Brand Themes, something like that. So if you search for themes or brand themes, you should be able to pop up. We've updated that to have all these new features. We speak to all these new things. And also people were asking, will the slides be available? Yes, this entire webinar will be also like chopped up, broken down. We're gonna repackage this into the content authoring module, put in the webinar for everybody to take who didn't make it. And the slides will be there as like an additional resource for you to download if you want it.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, so much more to see.
Go through them later.
So much more to see. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep popping, because I'm telling you, we got a lot to go through. But before that, back to the future trivia time. Are you ready, fellas?
Oh, no.
Okay, two-part question. What year did Marty travel from? And second part, what date did he arrive? You got to be specific here. Come on now. What year did he travel from first? Go.
1985.
Oh, for the win. You correct. What was the exact date that he arrived in the future?
September.
October 21st, 2015. Oh, that's good. Okay, back to the serious stuff now. I told you, we're just going to little pattern interrupter as we go along, keep you on your toes as you go through. So you'll never forget that. Impersonation mode, another wonderful feature that I know I've wanted for a long time, to be able to see the world through the eyes of someone else, right? To see the instance through the eyes of someone else. I thought it was, so let's talk to that one. Go for it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we did a little skit here too when this feature came out, where Mike kind of entered into DeAndre's mind and impersonated him.
How embarrassing!
So that
I like it. That's good.
The production value on it was there. Let me just say that. But that's just a little shout out to all these little releases that we have. We try to make fun little videos to make sure that you know about them. But impersonations, really simple in theory. You're able to look and see exactly through the eyes of a learner, see their dashboard, all the courses that are on their dashboard. And the reason for this, and Ryan, you can speak to this a little bit more, a lot of times I've heard learners complain to their admin saying, oh, I don't see the course assigned to me, or, you know, how do I get here? Isn't it just easy for the admin to just see directly what they're seeing, rather than either having to kind of go stand behind them, walk them through it? I know you can't share login credentials. That's not really safe. So this is the best way for us to kind of get that connection between the admin and the learner, so you can really see through their eyes. Ryan, have you seen, I mean, have you even used this as far as like doing demos or talking through things and working through issues with your clients?
Oh yeah, in fact, last week, I had a customer come to me. It was one of our calls, and she said, one of my learners was sending me all these screenshots and asked me to help them troubleshoot. And you know, and I was finally able to figure out the problem. And I said, why didn't you just impersonate your learner? And she goes, oh, that's right. So don't forget, turn it on and promote yourself to an impersonator. And when your learners come to you with little challenges, all you have to do is go into their profile, click impersonate, and you can see exactly what they're seeing. So on the call, we went ahead, turned it on, went and impersonated her learner, and she said, oh, it's right here. I just needed to direct them to do this one thing, and I wouldn't have had to go back and forth for 30 minutes over email.
Right.
Big time saver, right? So it makes it pretty interesting. Yeah, it's powerful, time saver. I mean, what are the values for you? So again, to be able to see the world through their eyes. And then there's no mistaking. It's like, oh, I don't see the button. And you're like, the button's there. I don't see the button. I've had that conversation so many times with folks. And then when I jump on, it's like, oh, yeah, it looks like it's grayed out. Or, okay, now we can go and start down another path and make it much easier for the both of us when we do this here.
Definitely.
The thing you can't do, though, remember, you can't take courses for them or do anything like that. But yeah, you certainly can see what they're seeing. So it makes it easier to troubleshoot as you go down the line.
Yeah, that was it right there. I mean, I just
pretty simple.
you have to promote yourself, just like the content author. You have to promote yourself to be allowed to have this access, enable it, promote yourself. And then once you go to a person's profile, you just can click that. Oops, log me out. What? You just click his information or his profile and go right into his impersonation mode. And just get back into that really quick. Impersonate. See, you're about to log in as DeAndre. Oh, that's because I clicked it and clicked back, so logging out. Yeah, so this is actually exactly what DeAndre sees. This is his custom dashboard. And then you can click exit impersonate mode. All right, we got so many things to talk about, so we probably should move on to the next.
Just quick note on that though, just real quick before we go, a couple of the questions. I just want to touch base on this here. Is that what can you actually action on their behalf when you're in impersonation mode? One of those things, it's really a visibility tool, right? You can't do a lot of stuff because again, it's not built that way for you to be able to go into their account for privacy concerns and all of that type of thing. But it's really a tool for you to use to be able to see the world and see what they're seeing in order to troubleshoot if they can't find a button or a course or something to that effect, right? So it's a little bit more set up that way than it is for you to go in and like, oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this course for you and get you the completion on that. That's not the way that it was intended. So that's why you can't do that stuff there. Okay. All right. Moving on to the next. Look at that. We're halfway through already. Oh, assets, giving your learners access to useful downloadable resources. Okay, let's talk about assets. Somebody take it away. Yeah. Is this you, Ryan, or is this Josh?
I'll just start a little bit on this, and then Ryan, you just feel free to tag on. But just from a top level, so what if you have something that you want to share with your LMS, but it's not necessarily a course or a learning path or a module. You don't want to necessarily assign your learners to necessarily complete it, but you just want to make it available. So previously, you could attach resources to courses, and we'd suggest that route, like make a course, like a welcome course, and put all the resources you need in that welcome course. But now if you go to the features tile and turn on assets, you're actually able to add a whole nother content type to your instance. And it could be a variety of these file types right now. And I believe that they're working on expanding these. They have to make sure that these are all super secure before they release the next set of file types. But we're able to upload Word documents, PDFs, PowerPoints, and video files and audio files for your learners to download across your instance. And the links can be sent to your download to your learners. And not only that, but you actually have visibility into how many learners downloaded the assets, which assets are the most popular ones. And I believe we have, if not already, we have reporting capabilities on assets. If we don't have it already now, I know we're working on that, or that's something that's coming out in a future release really soon. So lots of cool things. Ryan, tell me a little bit about what you would do with assets.
So I've seen assets used a lot of different ways. One of the most common ways, though, is, hey, Ryan, we've got all this new hire orientation material that we need our learners to take so that we can track it, but we also, for legal reasons, have to make it available to them. So think your employee handbooks, your compliance handbooks, things along those lines that learners need to have access to, because you know that like once you upload something to Litmos as a course, we're locking it down. We're making sure that nobody can copy that and go open up their own organization with your proprietary material. But for all of those things that you want your learners to have access to, and I've even seen this used really well in sales organizations where they're giving product guides, product updates, things that they want their salespeople to have access to out in the field. They make them available as assets to their learners in whatever part of the organization makes sense. And those learners are able to take the course, take the training, do whatever needs to be done from for a tracking and reporting standpoint, but also have these materials either on their phones or their tablets or on their personal computers so that they can leverage them when they need them. They have them available when they need them most.
Absolutely.
That's some important, powerful stuff. To me, that's the most important thing, is to hear how you've seen. Again, you're the closest to the customers, right? You work with customers every single day on setting all this stuff up and finding value or creating value with these tools. So it's really great to hear those use cases. And is there anything that we need to know, Josh, about how to add those, or is there anything there that you want to share on just the process for uploading something? If you just take 30 seconds to just show that process real quick, or where to find it, I think that'd be pretty helpful.
Definitely. So just as with all of these features that we'll be talking about, everything can be found in the account settings, where you go to account settings and then Litmos features tab, which is right here. I think only account owners have access to this, so you'll have to be that permission level to see all this. But here's where you'll enable assets, right? And then not only will you be able to enable you to upload assets, but also learners can upload assets directly from their learner dashboard here for you to approve.
So learners start to create stuff.
Yeah, that learner content creation piece is really, really cool, because you now have a way to empower your managers, your supervisors. If you don't want to give them those, content creation permissions in the platform, you can promote them to be able to submit assets of things that maybe they want to deliver, but it needs to go through some sort of QA process with your team now, right? So now they can upload those assets to you to review, and you go through the QA process. Yes, this looks good. And then you upload it as a course that you then deliver to their team.
That's great. Yeah, the crowdsourcing thing. I know that's one of the things that we've been trying to break into and do better, right? I mean, it makes a lot of sense that you have a lot of folks with incredible competence and confidence and abilities and knowledge. Well, right there within your company, right? You don't have to look outside all the time. I think your best assets are the folks that are sitting right next to you or work with you. It's just a matter of getting what's in their brains out of their brains and into here, so other people can share in what they know, right? In that common sense, as you know it. Like for me, I know X, Y, and Z, but Ryan and Josh see it differently, and it'd be great to, or don't know that, and to be able to share that. So we're trying to give you the tools for you to be able to harness that, the power that exists in your company, and really showcase all of the talents that are there. This is really great stuff.
Yeah, and for all those folks out there wondering where the assets land.
I'm uploading a pretty heavy video file while we're on a video camp conference.
Yeah, you're starting to go fuzzy.
Yeah,
Ryan, what was that?
For everyone out there who's wondering where the asset appears once someone submits it for review, just go to the content tab, and everything that's been submitted for your approval will be right there at the very top.
It's great. That's definitely a resource that I know that I used back in the day.
Exactly.
Or I used it offline though, because we didn't have this, of course, when I had Litmos, but I would crowdsource stuff in Excel or whatever, Word, and then we would put the stuff together beyond that. But you never know what you're going to get. I think some of the instructional designers on the line would know that and say and go, yeah, I sometimes you get really great stuff, sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's not so much. So definitely still need to go through the process of QA before you just send it out to everybody in your org. But just a quick tip there as we go along. But now you're gonna have the tools. That's the point, right? Is that Litmos is gonna enable you to create the environment that you want in order to be successful and get stuff out to the masses. Right?
Oh yeah. That's
all
why
right,
we love Litmos.
I know. Are we good? We good with assets?
Yep. I think so.
I
mean, honestly,
all right.
I could talk about assets a little bit longer, but we had so much to cover. So
I know, right? We had 10:34, trying to be conscious of time. And then the minute that I say that, I'm going to say Back to the Future trivia. That's right. We got 30 seconds for this one. This one's really good. What was the name of the mall where in the parking lot the DeLorean jumped for the first time? Ooh, this is a good one. This is a kind of a trick question too. Let's see if people know it. What was the name of the mall? Do you know it, guys? Come on now.
I don't do that.
No. At the beginning of the movie, it was Twin Pines Mall. Did anybody get that in that? Oh yeah, Twin Pines. But at the end of the movie, it was not Twin Pines Mall. You know why? Because when they jumped to the future, he ran over one of them and it became the Lone Pines Mall. If you go back and look at it, when he jumps back, they changed the sign from Twin Pines to Lone Pine because of when the DeLorean came into the future or went to the past, that he ran over the tree, right? When he went to the past. Pretty crazy, right?
That's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you look at it, it's a little Easter egg there. Anyway, okay, back to serious content and AI video tagging. Let's talk about that. Let's get going.
I'm proud of our people too who knew that trivia. Content and AI video tagging.
Proud of all you wonderful folks out there that love this movie as much as we do. All right, moving on.
Best trilogy ever.
That's funny. So now we have this another feature tile that's been added to Litmos, content tagging. We've been adding different content types to the system over the past few years. Previously, it was just courses and learning paths. Then we added collections, and then we added the ability to add modules on their own. And now we just talked about assets. So these are all different kinds of content that's in your instance. And wouldn't it be great to be able to tag each one of these pieces of content with words that can then be picked up through reporting and also through searching results through the content library. So that's what we did on every single piece of content. Now you have the ability to just in the course settings, in the asset settings, learning path settings, there's a little box that says tags, and you can write one word tags up to 20 per piece of content that will describe what's in your system. So that alone is pretty powerful, because previously the way that our search would work, it would search the title and it would also search for through the course description. But this gives you a way to kind of dynamically link a bunch of different courses and different learning paths, assets, all of these different things together without having to worry about those things being aligned, like the descriptions and the titles. So there's that. And also what we've added was AI video tagging. So any video files that have been uploaded to Litmos, including learner uploaded videos, can now be submitted to AI video tagging. So it will literally turn on AI video tagging, click analyze, and then sometimes it takes a few minutes, especially depending on the video length. It will actually take words and suggest content tags from the script in the video that was said. From that point, you can kind of approve and deny those tags and make that a part of that video module. So that's just something that, okay, if you have like 200 videos that are uploaded by learners, watching each one of those manually is going to be tough if you wanted to categorize and tag it. So this is something that pulls all that heavy lifting off your shoulders. It's really powerful, and I think we're starting to use it a little bit more in the dojo. I'm starting to tag courses, but this is something that we can really benefit from if we use it in its full potential.
Yeah, and just remember that this is all for your learner's experience. So it's about making things in the library more readily findable and not being pigeonholed into putting words in either the course title or the course description. So all of these things are now searchable. They'll return the results that you want, but they're not out front right there. So it's all about helping your learners intuitively find the things that they're looking for.
Great. Josh, is there, do you want to showcase that a little bit? Just take, again, 30 seconds to.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, give me like 2 seconds to pull up my instance really quick. I've got so many.
You got a lot of windows going on for sure.
I know. That's my Mac UI kind of going into this. Actually, yeah. We're here on this employee handbook asset, and if I just scroll all the way down to the tagging area, I can add in employee handbook, and like maybe some like type in, oh, my first day, what do I do? All
Nice.
of these now will populate when you're searching. I'm not sure if that's
immediate.
Let's see. Yeah. Assets. I'm gonna search for assets. I don't know if this is listed in the content library. Yeah. So you also have to make the assets available and like public before they're available for obvious reasons. I don't think that's what it did, but that's a way that you can add a tag to any sort of piece of content from assets, courses, even just right in here. Every single piece of content here has a settings tab that you can kind of get into and add in tags just like that.
Cool. Yep. All right. Looks pretty simple. I like it.
Totally.
Thanks for that.
Another huge one. I think this might be third on the list, beyond the brand themes and the content authoring for me. It's custom learner dashboards. right? There were a lot of UI updates in the past year, and if you enabled custom learn dashboards in your account, you kind of merge your account into this new look and feel. With the custom learn dashboards, and I can actually, let me just pull it up in another window. I'll get that ready to go. With custom learn dashboards, you have now the control of how the widgets are laid out on your learn dashboards. You can have control of what widgets they get access to, from the courses to maybe like the news widget or learner upload capabilities, to even just like the way that the widgets are laid out and the sizes. You have total flexibility and control over that. And then I can kind of just show you guys really quickly on
Ryan,
my
do you
screen.
see people using that in the real world, right? So, I mean, you're close to the customer. So any thoughts on that?
So what I always encourage all of my new customers now is like, remember, you've got your default theme or your default, which, and part of that is your default learner dashboard. So now everything is a widget. If you're not using something, then don't take up space on their dashboard with it. So a perfect example is like ILTs. If you're not doing instructor-led trainings, then when you design the learner dashboard, don't take up space with the ILT calendar. But where it gets really, really cool is when you link these to different brands, because now I can have a customized brand that also has a customized learner dashboard. So my internal learners are seeing a dashboard that makes sense for the training they're taking, while my customer XYZ is seeing a dashboard that is only relevant to the training they take. And I even had another customer who just completely like customized all of their internal learner groups. So they used brands purely for internal training purposes, and they had so many different lines of business that each line of business got its own custom dashboard, its own custom brand, based on the type of training that they were coming into the platform to take.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Love that.
And it's so easy. It's so easy to jump in and do.
Definitely, and I would say start small with creating a new custom dashboard. Start with like the assigned training, the courses that you're giving your learners, and I don't know, like my favorites and that sort of thing. Because when you start adding these things, they kind of populate in this column, and then that's when you kind of go around and drag it and make it the size that you want. I mean, this is like the classic standard Litmos look right here. You have the main column, but actually I've been seeing a lot of people do it the other way, where all their data and like quick links are on the left, and then all their courses are on the right.
That's
it made
great.
sense. And then they had even that little metrics here in this right column, like kind of minimized, and then it looks good. It looks good when we were looking at it on the customer screen.
Just realize that, I mean, a good note on that teachable moment, right, is that if you just start adding stuff, it's going to just go down the thing. So you do have to drag and drop and do a little bit of interior design, a little decorating to make sure that you have things fit the way that you want them to be. And one last note on strategy, I think Ryan said it best, is that I think the less is more, right? That if there's stuff that just isn't super relevant to the learner, just leave it off, right? So that they have one focus. They get in, they do what you need them to do, and they can find it. And then your engagement scores are going to go up, and people are going, cool, it was right there, clicked right in, everything was great. So just consider that as we go along too. All right. Absolutely. Well, that's good. I think, interest of time, we got to keep on keeping on, right? We still got a couple of things. The next up, these are the ultra. One last thing. Sorry.
You can assign a custom dashboard to a brand. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, you can assign custom dashboard. And I think Ryan had mentioned that earlier, right? In the use case, in the real, that's okay. That in the real use case, that's such a great thing to be able to do, is that now you have full control over the look, the feel, and even how the dashboard is designed in each of the brands. So setting up that feature again, if you have multiple teams or whatnot taking that's a very exciting thing that you can go in and do in the customization realm, right? Litmos is very customizable, and as you can see from the dojo and other places that, like this example right here, is that you can go in and change almost everything, even down to the color of the nav or the scroll bar. I mean, you can get into that detail if you have somebody on your team that knows that sort of stuff. And we do have some courses in the dojo that Josh did that are really fantastic around instance customization. That'll walk you through, give you all of the code, So definitely check those out as we go along too. A little plug for that, and you getting better with those skills as well. Because believe it or not, your learners, I mean, they live in this culture of Hollywood and special effects, and it matters what it looks like. So when people go in and they go, ugh, I don't even want to be here, that's going to be a really negative beginning to what you're trying to do. If they go in and go, wow, that's cool, there's a video plan and this is slick, then it's going to engage them more. So believe it or not, that's really a truth. It's not it does matter. Okay, moving on to the next one, the ultra premium features. That's right. I don't know if you've unlocked these. I don't know if you've unlocked these yet, but these are some of my favorites. So, I mean, I think you need a special code for these ones, right? So, well, the first one is the Brain Upload 2.0, right? And you're going to link your learners' brains directly to the content library, and they receive training immediately. It's just like a plug it in, and I love that one. I've seen that one in play.
I think Keanu Reeves did that one last.
Yeah, what's the next one? What's the next one? Because I mean, this is you gotta find these. The LMS admin duplicator. That's right. You need more LMS admins. You can duplicate your staff just with the click of a button. You can have more people and more bandwidth. But you know, you do have to watch out though. You know, they might have some crises if they see each other. And so definitely look for that one in the ultra premium features list. We haven't turned that one on yet. And then finally.
Well, we ran into people the duplicated admins going home to the families, and it just caused a lot of issues. So just
moving on to the third one. What's the third one? The training department budget Bitcoin. Now this is my favorite, right? Is we never have enough money. You enable this and it injects funds directly into your org's training budget. So now you are flush with cash to do all the things that you want to do and you've ever wanted to do. So definitely look for. Definitely look for these three in the ultra premium features that are hidden in the code way down deep where no one can get to them because they really don't exist for legal reasons. I have to say this is just a joke. So anyway, wouldn't it be nice though? I think that's where we're going with that. Wouldn't it be nice? But back to things that exist. Back to things that do exist and things that we love. We have about 12 minutes left to get through the last bits of this year. Assessments. Let's jump in.
Assessments. Super fun.
You want to go for it, Ryan?
I'll just jump in. So my favorite things about the assessments upgrade that we got are our new question types. So matching and sequencing, that was a huge request that I saw, especially in various organizations wanting to do matching type questions. I also really love now that you can weight your questions too. So no longer is it just like one question is worth 1 point, but if you're asking an essay type question or you're really looking for your learner to distill some knowledge for you, that question can be weighted higher than other just like multiple choice or true false questions. And then lastly, just real quick, is the question bank. So that was another huge request that we got from a lot of our customers, was a place where every question could live. And then whenever you're building assessments, no matter what course it might be, and you can just pull those questions from the bank. So really, like, again, powerful stuff, things to make your lives easier. And then of course, always reportable on after your learners finish taking them.
It's fantastic. Really good stuff there on there. Some minor updates there, but I think making major headway in what we need to be doing. So, and as we're going through this, folks, I want to put it out there too, is that we'll probably, I think I want to do this for sure, is create some webinars around this topic, this back to the future webinar that we're doing now, that go into each of these or some of the top 3 or whatever, and really dig in. Like right now we're showcasing it, getting you excited and inspired for it again, to go give it another look. And then next up, we'll go into the deep dive for each of these, or maybe a couple of them on a webinar, right? Definitely. And say, all right, let's go in and build something and do all of that as we go along. But this is really what we're trying to get across today, is just to remind you of all the great stuff that's there. Again, just a little disclaimer here, remind you of all the great stuff that's there and to get you inspired to go take another look at it, right? And then go to the dojo, because all of these have courses associated with them in there that are short, quick, to the point, and we'll get you going on there. So be inspired and go check this stuff out while we create some cool webinars for you to attend later on. Okay, continue. Sorry, I just want to interject that.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, you guys hit all the important points on assessment, so I'll go to the next one. Gamification. We've made some updates and kind of across the board UI changes to gamification. the way that gamification used to work previously, you could get learning paths or courses and then assign that a point value and a badge. From that perspective, you can still do that, but we've actually opened it up a little bit more. Now we have introduced what we call gamification triggers that go beyond just courses, learning paths. We get gamification rewards for completing modules, and I believe there are a lot more that are also in the works right now. Some things that I've heard of are points for engaging in discussion forums on courses and like leaving comments, and maybe that even extends to like ratings, that sort of thing. And I think there's also gamification. Another huge update to gamification is the ability to add gamification notifications. So when you receive your black belt or your full core black belt after you've gone through your white, green, and black belt in the dojo, you should see a haiku pop up. I've already done it in my account and all my test accounts. So I'm a black belt. So I need to create another black belt to actually test it. But we should be seeing a haiku from this gamification notification.
You're giving people something to strive for now to see what it says. That's good.
Exactly. And I mean, I think the notification part is super important though, because when your learners would receive an achievement before, that would appear on their achievements panel and also on their like leaderboard, the points would be reflected. But there was not ever like an immediate notification. I think that that's something that we should all kind of use if we use badges in gamification, to let our people know, hey, you just earned a brand new badge. Go to your achievements panel and hit download on your certificate, so you can then present it and print it out and put it on your wall and be so proud of all the things you've done. So gamification, I mean, huge updates there. There's levels. We introduced levels, so you can create different beginner, novice, intermediate, any kind of level that you want to create. You can basically divide your learners into these different levels, and if they achieve certain gamification triggers, then they are part of level 1. And then if they continue and achieve the rest of them, then now they're upgraded to level 2. And what this really is the foundation for updates and things that we're bringing to the product going forward. But now at least we have a way to kind of divide up our learners into levels and kind of give them that extra little tier. And I would say this is pretty cool from like an LMS admin perspective. We've used like gamification leaderboards a lot in previous training engagements to really hone in on who's doing well and who's not doing that well in like a smaller group. So tons of improvements here. I mean, Ryan and Mike, if you want to pop in here and add any other points, that'd be cool.
One thing that I'll just pop in and say, outside of like all the cool just upgrades to gamification. So yes, adding, mapping points to modules, yes, gamification levels. But remember that this is just another way for you to engage with your learners. So it's all about their experience. It's all about keeping them coming back to absorb more content from you. So I encourage you to use these to engage with them, because it always triggers that like reward part of our brain when you get your little firework pop up that you just got your silver medal for finishing this part of your training. But think about what that could mean for your organization when it comes to career development. So we talk about things here in a very like kind of video game way, a very fun way, because that's engaging for us. But what could it mean in your organization if you're using this to help map career development? And then also don't forget that all of these things are reportable. So if you want to further encourage your learners to take certain kinds of training or management development level training, whatever it might be, you can also link those points to real world rewards, whether those be gift cards, whether those be just recognition in meetings, whether that is lunch with your manager whenever we're allowed to go eat lunch again. So don't forget to tie real world incentives to these gamification items.
Josh, you're flush with awards. I think with badges. Well, way to go, man. You've been busy.
You know, I'm the one who creates all these, so I gotta test it out.
Come on, take the compliment. It's good. It's good. All right, we've got 4 minutes left. We're racing towards the finish here. We wish we could spend the whole day with you. I know you do too. I know we're pretty fun. I mean, why not? But we've got a few more slides to get through here. Want to make sure that we hit the numbers. So what else we got here?
Oh yeah. Speaking about hitting the numbers, talk about SAP Litmos training content. Just a little shout out to what they've been doing on that side of the business, because technically they're not new features, but there are tons of new courses and updates that they've been making on their end.
Stuff. Yep.
Totally. So to our base edition, CX 227, 228. So you can see that we're constantly making, not we, that team is constantly making tons of updates and contributions to their content library.
Great off the shelf, just great off the shelf courses that you can get and plug in and immediately find value. And again, like the Netflix subscription, I guess we use that a lot as a way to describe it, that as we add these, there's no extra cost. You just get it and it adds in and off you go. So that's pretty great. Some great updates there, some good numbers for sure.
Definitely. And then these are just some things that we also want to make call outs to, because we've had some pretty big product enhancements and feature adds to these already existing powerful features. Some of our most, IoT is one of the most used features that we have. There's a lot of more flexibility that's been added to that, and just some overall improvements. The assign tool, if you watched a lot of our videos, we had a lot of 2.0s. So assign tool has been updated to 2.0. There's actually, we reworked the way that works and the way the triggers work, at least the way that the UI works. So it's a little bit easier of a flow to use. I think it's actually a lot smoother to use. Reporting, there's been tons, with all these updates and features, we add more capabilities to the reporting engine, so we can also speak to that. Compliance, we've done tons of updates to compliance, making sure that a lot of customers have had input on how compliance should work in their organization. We've taken that and made those improvements. And then the manager tab, if anybody's a manager in Litmos, they've gained access to a little bit more of a deeper view of their team, and they can also now access reports easily just from that one tab. So lots of cool little overall product enhancements.
Good stuff.
Tons of like small stuff that we're not going to mention, but like our product team's just constantly working on. So mad props and just all praise and worship to them for just going around the clock trying to make Litmos amazing every day. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, well, we made it. Look, 10:58 by my clock. We are so close. What we're going to do now is we're going to we're right at the top of the hour, so unfortunately we're not going to be able to get to a lot of questions, but we do have them, and we're going to be looking through them and answering those hopefully as we go along. It's been such a pleasure working with you, Ryan and Josh, on this webinar, and Gina, thank you so much for the back end, doing the things behind the scenes, and to all of you for spending some time with us to learn. Now remember, I encourage you, jump into the dojo, look at some of these courses that we have, and just reconnect and get re-inspired with some of the stuff that we have here. And if you want to go further than that, be looking for the webinars that we're going to be putting on about these specific things. And then remember, come February, we're going to be seeing some awesome new updates as well. So we're excited to be continually making the product better as we go along. And now we have one last question. That's right. We have time for one more question. Back to the Future trivia. That's right. Was Michael J. Fox always Marty McFly? Was he the first Marty McFly? Anyone? 3, 2, 1.
Yes.
It's yes or no?
Yes.
I want to say no, because
incorrect. The first Marty McFly was actually a gentleman named Eric Stoltz. He was cast, and they actually filmed quite a bit of the first movie with him about 6 months in, until it just wasn't working out for them. So they were able to get Michael J. Fox because he was finally became available because he was working on Family Ties at the time. And that was the reason he couldn't take the job in the first place. Anyway, that being said, we love everybody. Thank you so much for your time and sticking around. We hope you had fun. I know it's not your typical go through every day. We wanted to have some fun and make it a little more entertaining for you as we go along. So Ryan, Josh, Gina, thank you so much. Signing off for us here at Litmos. Take care. Check out the dojo and be looking for all the new updates to come. Take care now.